welcome to my channel. In my channel I would like to show you how to create similar programs on Android and iOS. If you ever build a program for one of the platforms, you will see that how easy it is to convert your application from one platform to the other platform. So let's start from the beginning. If you start from scratch, then at first you need to download the coding systems, which is for Android the Android Studio, for the iOS it's the Xcode. So what you should know that while you are able to create programs in Android Studio on different OS systems like Linux, Windows or Mac, the iOS applications you can create easier if you have a Mac computer. So if you are running Xcode, you might have other options to run Xcode on Windows or on any other platforms or any other OSs. But these platforms are not natively supporting the Xcode system, so you need to run something in a virtual machine, or you have online tools to create your softwares or debug your programs. But the easiest way, if you really have a Mac computer, because on this you can run both systems, the Android Studio and the Xcode. So let's start from the beginning, how you create your application. In this video I will just show you these first steps, which is important to start up your applications from scratch, and as such you need to know certain things which are required to upload the application into the App Store or the Play Store. So the first thing is that you start up the Android Studio or the Xcode. Let's start with the Android Studio. So when you start the application, you will see that you can create the projects. So let's start with the project creation. We need to click on the new project button. So then you will see this window where you can select which kind of application would you like to start with. What you can see here, you have many options. The first option is an empty activity. So you should know that on Android the main application is starting with the activity or called activity, and this activity is basically creating the application on your phone, and then from this main activity you can create windows, you can create different pages. So the first option is actually the kind of UI, programmatic UI version. So if you select this option, then you need to create your scenes or displays by coding them into the application itself, and when you are generating the application will create the views for you. But you have another option which for me is it's more easier or more visual, let's say, because if you select this one, then you can create your UI elements on a WYSIWYG mode. So basically you can put the elements on the scene, and you can make their sizes or change their sizes. You can put them into different locations and so on. So it's for me it's more visible, it's more practical, because you can see what you are doing. In the UI case, you need to imagine, let's say, how the display will look like, and then you need to compile the code, and then you can see what you are doing. So for me this is a bit more tricky, but later on we will go into this option as well. But let's start with the other possibilities. So let's select an easy or basic view with an activity. So this one will create the application on a way as I explained to you earlier. So let's click on the next, we need to name our application, so let's call it sample application. And then you have a package name. So here, if you have already a domain name, like I have this one, the application package name will be generated from your domain name and the application name. So then you can select the save location. So you can see that my basic location is this location, and then you can select the language what you want to use. So here you can select between Java or Kotlin. I prefer to use Kotlin because Kotlin and later on what you will see in the Xcode or the iOS, the Swift programming language are I would say pretty similar. So you can basically transfer your application from one code to another with a minimum change. If you would select the Java then or C++ from on iOS, then it would be a bit more difficult to transfer the application. So we will use the Kotlin. Then the next point is that you need to select the SDK version. So here what you should consider that which Android version would you like to support as a minimum Android version. So the lower you go in the SDK, the more device you can reach, but at the end you have more difficulties to basically use those features which are built into the later version of the Android Android versions. So here it's up to you basically. So you can see that if you select Android 10, you can reach 81% of the devices. If you select Android 13, then it's only 34%. But as I said, it's absolutely depend on you that which version would you like to run. So now I would select the Android 14 just for sake of the sample application. It's good for us, so we don't want to really target any device specifically, so we can use this one. So let's click on the finish, and then the Android Studio is generating for you the application. And then as you can see that it's already making some files for you, and then it's also downloading the required elements for your application. So when you are starting from scratch, the basic system is I would say very simple. So you will see that what it consists of. So let's go into the application. So you can see the main activity, which is already opened here, and then the Android Studio was creating for you two fragments. So we will talk later on about the fragments. What does it mean exactly? You will see that how fragments are related to the iOS compatible version of the application. So we have here two fragments, and then we can also go into the resources. And what is important for us that it was generating for us some layouts. So as you can see, the main activity layout, which will basically implement the fragments which are generated for fragment first and fragment second. Then you also have a navigation graph. So this will be interesting because as you will see later on, Xcode in Xcode for the iOS, you have a pretty similar solution, or pretty similar way of working. So when we click on this, then we can see the two fragments, and you can already see here that which is the starting segment, because this little home icon is showing that when we start up the application, this first segment will be visible. And you can already see that there are some arrows which are showing that how you can navigate between the different fragments, and how you can basically reach the content of the files. If you click on this, you can see that there is an ID, destination, so from which fragment you are going to which fragment. In the other one, you can see that it's going to the second fragment. We don't go into these details right now. This will be a part of a later video. Then once you click on one of these, because here you can't edit the fragments themselves, you need to go into the fragment itself with a double click, or you can click on the on these layouts, and then you will see this page where you can basically edit the different elements. But as I said, we don't go into this details right now. Okay, so let's see how you can generate an application for Xcode. So open Xcode then. Okay, so here I already have some applications created, but let's start with a new one. So click on the file, new, and project. And then here we don't have so many versions, we only have the application version, so on the application itself. And let's target now the iOS. We can target macOS or whatever, but now we are talking about mobile applications, so let's target for simple app. Then similar thing, so sample app. As you can see, more or less the same thing here. What I was not talking about is that here in the Xcode you can already see that there should be a theme mentioned. It doesn't matter if you don't have a theme already. Later on you can create this as well. Basically what you need to do is that you need to join to a developer program on the developer website of Apple. In the Google case, you also need to have such an account, a developer account, to be able to share your application via the App Store or the Google Play Store. Okay, so I have this theme. I myself the theme, so yeah, I selected here this one. So here the layout is a little bit different from the Android version, but as you can see that, for example, here we have the storyboard or the Swift UI. So this I mentioned for you, if you remember, I was showing on the first page that you can select at the application creation first view which kind of way you want to create your application, or how you want to program your application. And you could select the UI type thing where you are coding into the Kotlin code, or in Xcode case the Swift code, the UI itself. And when you compile the application, then, or when you are running the application, the software itself is generating for you the views. And this is pretty similar here, but you can select it via this Dropbox or drop selector. Let's say that you want to use the Swift UI version, which is the coding version, and the storyboard, where you can edit your views on the same way as I showed it on the Android Studio. So the language will be Swift. I mentioned that Swift is pretty close to Kotlin, not the same, of course, but pretty much the same kind of layout or coding solution like here the Swift. So we select the Swift. Objective-C is still usable, but nowadays I think very seldomly used compared to the Swift one. Okay, we don't use storage, so you can, if you want to have some data storage in your application, you can use this. But as I will also mention it in some later application, I don't like to use this kind of or platform specific solution like this one, because it would be a bit harder to implement it in Android. So I usually use, instead of this kind of storage system, SQLite, because SQLite is more general, and then what you are doing in Android you can do easily in Xcode. So leave it out right now, so we don't need it. Click on the next one. We can select the folder where we want to put our application, and let's say we put it here into the iOS sample project, and then we can create the application. So pretty similar to the Android, the application is generated, and what you were seeing on the Android, we got an app delegate, scene delegate, and a view controller. Also, we got a main storyboard and a launch storyboard, and an info playlist. The applications are typically starting with this app delegate in the iOS, so I would say that it's more or less what we are calling the main activity in Android. Here is the application delegate is making this function. So basically this is what is let's say controlling the application run. So you can see also that the main function is here. So basically the application starts with these. Scene delegate is basically controlling the different view controllers. Currently we don't need to do anything with these. And then we have a view controller which is linked to the view itself, or that specific screen what you want to use in the application. The line screen is something which you will see when you start up your application. On Android you don't have this, but here you can create a kind of splash screen. So you can put here your logo or whatever, and while the application itself is still loading into the memory and starts to run, the phone will display this line screen. The rest of the screens are in the main storyboard. So once the application started, then the main storyboard is containing those view controllers which you will use. As you can see in here, when the software itself is generated, or the project is generated, this view controller is empty. Not like in the Android, it fills up with some elements already, just to show you something. If you would run this application here, then you would see an empty screen. So you can put in here, of course, some elements if you want, but right now this is not really relevant for us. So in this video, what I would like to also explain is that if you want to share your application to the users, so you want to upload it into the App Store or into the Google Store, you need to have two things. At first, you have to have a version number of the application. So this is what in the Xcode case the App Store is using for the identification of the actual version what you would like to share with the users. So here you can define the version typically on the same way as every software is versioned. So you have a main version number, a subversion number, or even a third version number. I usually use 3 digits here. So let's say that the first version will be 1.0.0. And there is a build number, which is a bit weird actually, because you can define this build number here, but what I used to use, and this is what I want to explain to you in this section, that how you can version your application, because when you upload the application into the App Store or the Play Store, then you need to differentiate this version with the revision number or with the build number, and this build number should be also a kind of specific build number, so you can't upload the same build number into these stores, because then it's giving you a failure with the upload. So whenever you upload something, you always need to have a different build number uploaded. In the Xcode case or the App Store case, the version numbers are also important, because in the Apple case or the App Store case, you can't have the same version number uploaded as well. While in the Google case or the Play Store case, you can upload the same version number. So if you want to make a minor change or minor revision in your application due to some failures or coding issues or whatever, then you need to change this version number in the App Store, but you don't need to change the version number in the Google case. In the Google case, you only need to make sure that you upload the new revision with a new build number. And in this case, when the application is shared or distributed via the Play Store, this build number will be increasing, and also the users can update their software or their application on their phone, downloading this new build. But they might not see differences in the version coding. So this is a difference between the two platforms, let's say. And why it's important, because if you might have an application which is using a backend, like you have a database on your internet account, and you are supplying data to these softwares, and you want to make sure that the users are using the latest version or latest revision, then the easiest way to identify the current application revision or a current version via the version number. But why you don't need to change it on one side, or you only need to upgrade your Xcode or your iOS application, you might have the situation that these versions are different on the two different systems. How I used to overcome these kind of situations, that even if I'm not changing something on the Android version, or I'm not changing anything on the iOS version, still I used to upload a new version if it is important. Of course, if the revision is not a big revision, so you don't change significant things in the background, then you might not need to deal with this kind of version changes. But okay, let's see. So why I was touching this point, because I think this is one of the most important thing, and sometimes it gives some headache for the developers, that how they can update their version number or build number. And in this first video, I would like to show you that how you can do this. So we were generating our application from scratch, and now we will see how we can update the build number in our file or in our application. So in the Xcode case, where you can make this kind of tracking or build number update is via this info playlist file. So if you click on this, you can see that basically it's more or less empty. In this info playlist file, you will need to register different things, I would say, or mention different things. So for example, you might need to define that you have a backend website, and that backend website's domain name is a kind of registered domain what you can use from this application. Apple is pretty strict about this, so you need to do such kind of things to make sure that you can you can reach your backend on the internet. But if you are not planning to use any of such links or databases or whatever from the net, then of course you will not need it. And in this first phase or first video, I'm not touching this point. But what is important is that to track the build number, you need to define here one variable, let's say, which is a built-in variable actually, and you can find it if you click on the plus button here. And this version coding for the build number is the bundle version. Why it's bundle version, I don't know, but typically this is called the build number in other platforms. So let's select the bundle version and let's put in here 1. So our first number will be 1, can be 0, whatever. So from this, of course, the bundle version will not automatically change, or it will not work just like that. If you let's select that first one of the iPhone emulator, and if you want to compile your product, then you need to come to the product menu point, and you can click on the build. And when you build the application, you will see that it's generating your application. Okay, but you can see that the bundle version didn't change. So if you don't have an automation built into your to the Xcode itself, then this number will never change. So you might need to change it by hand. But of course we don't want this. So how we can automate it? It's relatively simple if you have a code already. Actually, I was also downloading it from the internet, from some community websites where you can find such kind of solutions. So where you need to put this little script which will make for you this automatic update of the build number is in the build phases. So you need to come here into the build phases, and you see that there are already some things which is running when you are compiling your application, like the resources or sources, the view controller, app delegate. These will be, and if you are putting more and more elements into your application, these will appear here automatically. You don't need to add them every time. You just need to leave it like this. But of course, sometimes you need to look into here if there is something missing, or you have a interesting behavior of your application or the compile itself, then of course you need to figure out what is causing that. So let's add the script. So you can see new run script phase. This is added at the bottom. Okay, so when you open it up, then you can see that it's currently empty. What you need to do is I will put in here. Okay, so where is, okay, this one is the Android. Let's see this one. Okay, so I copied here the script already. So I just need to copy from here to here. Okay, so we have the script, and what we need to do is that we need to find where is this info playlist actually. So you can see that if you come here and click on the file, you can see that the full path is here. And what is important that the script will run until this point, I would say. So it thinks that he's somewhere here in the hierarchy of the folders. So we need to add this sample up before the text. So let's go back, and here we type in sample app. Okay, but when you want to run the application, it will not generate anything at first. So let's go back to the info playlist and then try to run it just to see. So when we build it, most probably it will generate a failure. Yes, you can see that the failure is already here, and it's creating some kind of explanation here why it's failed, but we don't need to care about it. So basically you should know that whenever you run a script, or you want to run a script, Xcode is running it in a kind of sandbox mode. So this is not allowing you to change any file from a script. So what we need to do is that we need to go into the build settings, and we need to find this sandbox. And you can see that user script sandboxing is marked as yes. So we need to say no, because we don't want to sandbox this scripting. So we want to run the script. So now let's go back to info playlist, and let's see. So now again, let's make the build, and if everything goes well, you see 0 failure, and the version number is already increased. Okay, so if you run it again, will be 3, and so on. So with this, you basically set up your application, and you can start to code, or you can start to make the screens and so on. Okay, so that's about the Xcode, and let's go back to the Android Studio, and let's see how it works in Android Studio. So okay, let's open up the Android Studio. Okay, we are here. So in Android Studio, you have Gradle files, and in the Gradle files you have different things. So you can specify plugins, and what we need is actually this build Gradle file, where we have, you can see the version code, version name. Actually the version name is what we mentioned, or we called 1.0.0 in the Xcode. It is pretty much the same here. So these files are controlling your compile. So whenever you do something with your application and you recompile the files, then these Gradle files are called, and these are working basically at every compile. So here we should place somewhere this automatic code or version coding increase. So what I was mentioning, that in the Android case, or the Google Play Store case, the version name, or this version number, can be the same for different uploads. So you don't need to always change it to 1.0.1, 1.0.2. You can leave it 1.0.0, but the version code here should be always different. So you can't upload always the version code 1. If you do this, then of course you will get a failure. This automatic versioning in the Android Studio, we need to change this little portion here. So instead of having a static number, we need to update this number. So the first thing what we should do is to create a file where we can store this actual revision number. So let's go here into the sample application, and I already created this version properties file. So let's have this. Let's see what is inside. So this is a very simple file. If we are opening it in text, you can see that there is nothing more, just the version code. Already here we have 4, but let's change it to 0 right now. And in this file we will change this version code number every time we run the compile in the Android Studio for this application. So let's close it. What you need to make sure that it's under this under your project file and the application folder, and under the application folder you should put this version properties file. So let's copy a code which I already prepared here. Let's wait on text edit. So let's take the already prepared code. So let's copy it here. It will contain also this default, so everything from here. Copy it in, and just quickly go through what it's doing. So at first it's reading the version properties file. while we had to have it under the application folder because this file is also running there, or trying to find the file there, so that's why we need to have it there. So we read this properties file into the memory. Okay, let's make it a bit nicer. So we load it in, and then we take the version code number into an integer variable, then adding 1 to it, so increasing it by 1. Just to see what is happening, we put in here a printing code, so actually we will see here when the compile is running that under this screen here we will see that which number is generated. So then we write it back here, so we write it back into the file to store it there, and then next time this increased number will be taken from the file. And then what we need to make sure, of course, that the version code will contain this code number. So let's check it how it will run. Compile the sources. You can see that it's already 1, so we had here 0 in the file, now it's 1. But if you run it again, it's 2. So if we go back to the file, it's version code 2. So what you could learn here from this video is that how to start up your application. So what you have learned from this video is how to generate your files, or generate your first project in Android Studio and in iOS and Xcode, and how to update the version number when you will upload it into your into the App Store or into the Play Store with this new version number or build number, which is important to be able to share your application via this service. So next time what I will show you is that how you can make UI elements in the Android Studio and in Xcode, and how you can link them into your code to modify their content, modify their behavior. So thank you for watching my first video, and see you next time with more content.